Hello, hello. This is Rahmaan, author and founder of the Child Support Hustle and the Fatherless Crisis Hustle. Well, I'm not an author of that. I'm just talking about it. Want to bring light to the fact that the government, once again, is trying to bamboozle us into thinking that there is a crisis that there isn't, that they are creating by trying to convince us that fathers do not want to be with their children and these children are fatherless. And they're not, but that's a different conversation. That's not what I want to talk about tonight. And you might hear my puppy. Wait, you guys have got to hold on. My puppy has to use the bathroom. Hold on. Pause. I don't know how to pause this. I might have to come back, but I might just be able to walk away. Just give me a second. Coco, not Coco. Come on, Kenny. Come on. Come on. Oh. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. Everybody with furry family members understand. So thank you so much. Um, so yeah, before I start, what I want to talk about, which is paying child support or supporting your children while you're co-parenting and why you want to make sure that you get receipts. I want to talk about this comment that was posted under a video that I shared. And the video was about the father who was contacted by Alabama's child support system about his deceased son. And now they're threatening to garnish his wages and everything like that. And as you can see, the commenter is saying, don't fight. You can't win against family court. Don't fight them and all this nonsense. And I say, don't come over here with that. Not on my page, not on my, we don't do that over here. So I want to talk to everybody and say, just be cautious, especially when you're dealing with child support, the courts and everything like that, because there's a lot of people that'll hop on a page, a group, a channel when they see advocates, parents fighting back against the system, and they'll try to discourage you from fighting for your rights because they want you to comply. They want you to agree. They want you to sign up for their bullshit, basically. So they don't want you to fight back. So this person comes in there and talks about these affidavits. That's another thing. Yeah, there are affidavits that float around here. If you see somebody that's offering affidavits, like they can close your child support case and all this kind of stuff, just pay them a certain amount of money. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying do your due diligence. Make sure that, you know, whatever you're buying is legitimate, as in, are there other people that have had their cases closed based on these affidavits? Do they have real clients that have successfully closed their cases and had their arrears erased based on the affidavits that they're trying to sell you? Because 9 times out of 10, I've seen those affidavits before. 9 times out of 10, I have not seen anyone successfully do what the people that are selling these affidavits claim they do. So that being said, that's what I had to say about that. So if you're going to come on to my channel or anywhere and try to discourage people from fighting for their rights to stand up, I mean, the best place I think that anybody should be fighting is family court, for one. And if you're going to come over and, you know, troll, I call that trolling. Don't do it over here, because I'm going to delete you and put you on blast. Now that I know how to do this shit, it's over. So that's for that. So, okay, now. So, and now I'm on Twitter. Let me get on here. So, let me take this one off. I'm still trying to figure out this program. Okay, so this young man, we had a back and forth, and of course, I'm still trying to work on my delivery. When I talk to people that support or, you know, try to, they're in love with the child support system, or they cape for it, is what I say. So I have to work on my delivery because not everybody knows what we know, especially not the young generation. So, you know, we're back and forth. I'm like, that shit ruins lives. And, you know, he said, how? I take care of my daughter, we co-parent and everything like that. And that's what you're supposed to do. So kudos for him for that. But the mistake is that he's paying cash to take care of his daughter or son. I can't remember which one. And so he says, hold on. I want to make sure I have of course, he's accusing all the men that are on child support. They're on there because they don't want to take care of their kids, which is false. It's the truth. I'm not worried about the system. My child's mother and I co-parent and have good communication. And even when we don't, I still do for my child, which is great. Yeah. Look at the statistics on who files what in court and see which parent takes the initiative. That's a red flag. It doesn't matter who takes the initiative. The non-custodial parent is going to always pay. That's number one. I got brothers who put themselves on child support. Only N-word who complain is the broke ones. No, that's not true. He says he's pointing out facts. Don't use the system. They are reactionary, not proactive. I seen blank get full custody because they went about it the right way. That has, again, nothing to do with it. You know, everyone speaks about personal standpoint. He says, literally to make sure the child has a stable environment, food, clothes, shelter, medical needs, and a fulfilled life. You're trying to argue about it. It's crazy. and I'm good. I do for my child with no conditions set in place, no need for me to document anything. I'm prevalent. That's the problem. So even if you co-parent and everything is good, you still have to document that you are taking care of your child. You are providing, you're doing the extras. The only reason why you wouldn't document these payments or this money that you are giving to the other parent is if you don't want credit for it. And the reason for that is, okay, you're co-parenting really good now and everything is cool. That's great. But let's say 2 years from now, you meet somebody else, you move on, you have another baby, you get married, and everything is not cool. And so the other parent says, I'm going to put you on child support. Well, when that happens and you don't have any documentation to show that you have in fact been providing for your child for all these years plus extra, when you go to court, the judge is going to say that you haven't provided anything. You're going to say, yes, I have. I've been doing all this that you told me that you were doing. And the judge is going to say, prove it. Well, you don't have any documentation because according to you, you're good. You'll do for your child with no conditions set in place, no need to document anything. You're prevalent. And the judge is going to say, that doesn't mean anything to me. You have to pay from the time your daughter was born or son, and you have to pay all the medical bills. And that's retroactive. And then we're going to charge you interest for that. So you're going to start off in the hole, and then you're going to be pissed off because you've been paying all along. So if you do that, it's great. This is the way, that's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to do this outside of government interference. So I'm not knocking anything. Like, this is the way it's supposed to be. But you always want to protect yourself to show that you have documentation and that you are, in fact, providing child support. So you want to do it digitally. Now we have CashApp, Venmo, all those things. When you send the cash that you send, make sure you put in the memo child support. If you do any extras, you might, just if you want credit for it, make sure you say child support. Put it in there, diapers for child support. You want to make sure that and then just get a folder and every receipt, everything, just put it in there. And in 10 years or however long, I've talked to fathers especially, where it's been 15 years and the mother has went to court and sued them. So they're on the hook for 15 years back child support when they've been providing for that whole time. So I know there's fathers out there, parents out there that are saying, well, I had proof and they still made me pay back pay. That is a problem because they're not supposed to do that, but because there's no accountability, they do what they want to. The reason that most of these judges have been doing that is because there's an in-kind kind of stipulation for considering payments outside of these orders, outside of a court order, a gift. And that's what it is, outside of the court order. So they're supposed to look at the proof that you present as evidence to you not being ordered to pay child support through them. But because there has been no accountability and they've been doing whatever they want for over 2 decades, they've been doing that. But I'm going to read you guys some information, and this is from the judge's manual. I'm going to tell you the date. This was back in, I think they issued this in the 70s. Let me get back to you on that, but this is an old manual. So keep in mind that these regulations and all this kind of stuff that dates before 1996, these were meant for married couples. The Title 4D did not come about until like the strict enforcements that they do. That came about after Clinton passed the welfare reform. So this is going to be strictly for married couples or divorcing couples. In determining whether credit again, wait, let me see if I'm starting right. Okay, generally, as a matter of law, an obligor should not be allowed credit for expenditures made while the child is in his or her custody, or for other voluntary payments made on behalf of the child that do not conform specifically to the terms of the decree. So they're telling you right off, this is based on an order. This is already set. So if you pay outside of that order, then you're not going to get any credit. So if you don't have an order in place already, then then you should get credit. That's what I'm trying to say. A child support order, when you are sued for child support, they're basically accusing you of abandonment or not taking care of your children. That's what the lawsuit is about. So this is about a parent a child support obligor going outside of the decree and voluntarily paying payments. You don't get credit for that. So if your child support is $200 and you pay $150 and then do something for $50 outside of that, they're saying you don't get credit for that. Credit for voluntary payments permits the absent parent to vary the terms of the decree and usurps the custodial parent's right to determine the manner in which support money will be spent. So they call parents absent, deserters. If that doesn't apply to you, then why would anything else in that system apply to you? That's why they use terms fatherless. That's why they use terms like that, so that they can classify you and put you into this system. That's why they classify children as fatherless, so they can determine that you abandon your children so you can be caught up in the child support hustle. So we got to stop. We got to condition ourselves to stop with that rhetoric. Just because a man is not living in the same house as their child does not mean their children are fatherless. And it doesn't mean that that man abandoned his children. In determining whether credit against arrearages should be granted for non-conforming payments, the rule may hinge on whether or not the arrearages become automatic judgments as they accrue. So the Bradley Amendment, that's the judgment that they're talking about before. This came out before that Bradley Amendment was an amendment. So the Bradley Amendment means that they will not retroactively erase child support arrears. That's why these arrears are lifetime debts. If you're 20, 30, 40, $100,000 back owing back child support, 9 times out of 10, you'll die with that debt because of this Bradley Amendment, and it needs to be repealed. Perhaps due to the harshness of the general rule, some courts have been willing to consider equitable principles when compulsory circumstances lend to the substituted form of payment. Damn, that was hard. My bad. So they're willing to consider equitable principles when compulsory circumstances led to a substituted form of payment. So if you have to substitute your payment, they'll consider it, but that's up to them. this is why you don't want to go through the government. Like, why is it up to them if you had to buy something, out of the blue? I had to fix my daughter's tire. So let me let y'all know that can that come out to support because that was $200. And why you ask them? Shit. No wonder that was so hard. That was some bullshit. See, that don't come out easy. When I'm reading bullshit or hearing bullshit like that, I fumble. So the credit for cash payments of gifts given directly to the child, educational expenses or food, clothing, medical expenses, or other necessities depend to a large degree on the circumstances of each individual case. Now, these judges, the child support agencies, this is why they want you to agree, because they don't want to take the time and do their damn jobs and work on individual cases. That's a big problem with trying to govern all of these people with child support issues and family court issues under one rule of thumb. Just to say, okay, we're going to calculate it differently in this state and we're going to calculate the income different. No, that doesn't work because everybody's family dynamic is different. So instead of them instead of them looking at each case individually and deciding what is best for that family, they just lump everybody together and say everybody that doesn't have money or doesn't pay this is a deadbeat and they have to go to jail. And we're not going to give anybody their due process rights and fuck all the poor people and we're not giving. This is what they've been doing for over 2 decades. We're gonna throw everybody in jail and just nonsense. So when I see these young people, oh, and then when you try to tell them something, they don't want to hear it because this is what they've been told. We were what you call it? We were what do you call it when you transfer? Like we were, I can't think of the word, like ushered into the system. They were born into the system. So all they know is child support. That's what you're supposed to do. Child support is for deadbeats. They must not be taking care of their kids. We know it differently. And even some of us don't know it. So it's not their fault. Credit for support given by the non-custodial parent during periods, credit for support given by the non-custodial parent during periods of extended visitation or temporary custody usually is not permitted unless it is provided in the decree. They never wanted to give any kind of credit. They don't even want visitation, temporary custody. They don't want that. They separate the two from child support. Child support and custody should always go together. They somehow, of course, it's about money, separated the two. And now they accuse the fathers. This is some shit. They'll accuse fathers that want more time with their children of wanting time with their children simply to reduce child support. Why would you think that? If you think that, then I would think you only want the kids' child support doesn't go down. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, some of this stuff is just, but I know they plant this stuff. They, divide and conquer. The best strategy to win a war. The stipulation that support would abate during the 6-week visitation period was incorporated into the decree, and the absent parent was not held responsible during that period. So, stipulation that support. I don't understand that. I think I'm missing something. I must not have copied and pasted what was in there. So there's some good precedent for allowing credit for support given during these periods. So that's the judge's manual, and there's nothing in there that says that they're not supposed to give you credit because it just doesn't exist. It's some shit they made up. You are allowed to take care of your children outside of the child support system. And that's why they don't go after people that do not receive welfare. They're not knocking on their doors. They're not coming and saying you have to, oh, you just had a baby, you have to sign up for child support. They don't do that because it's not meant. You can't make people sign up for that system. But if you are paying like this young man is doing right here, make sure you document it for the long run. It's like better to have the receipts and not need them than to need them and not have them. It's just a safety net, because I've talked to so many fathers and some mothers that were doing the right thing, you know, taking care of their kids never wanted for anything. Somebody got pissed off, went to child support, and man, their life has never been the same. Never been the same. So that is what I want to talk about. And hopefully, you know, this information will help somebody. Of course, it's not going to help everybody, because some of us have already been through this and we can't go back and change what has already happened. So please don't send me messages and in the comments like, that's not what happened in my case. I know. Hindsight is 2020. That's why, you know, awareness is needed, and we share this information, or at least I do when I get it. So hopefully somebody else does not get fucked around like so many of us did. Sometimes this information is not for, like, that wasn't our time. Like, they got us. Sometimes you just got. So and yeah, be careful. Like, some people monitor like groups and pages and see what's going on. Like, dude, the dad that Alabama's harassing, like, I tagged the Federal Child Support Enforcement Agency, I tagged the Attorney General Alabama, I tag people, you know, the big people, like, what y'all gonna do about this? So hopefully he'll get some help. And that's what I always have always been an advocate for, going to the top. Go to the top, because when you start at the child support agency, just remember they're welfare caseworkers. And if anybody has ever dealt with a welfare caseworker, they are nasty. They treat people like shit. And that's how child support caseworkers / collection agents treat people. So if they're not giving you what you need, if they're not answering your questions, if they're violating your rights, because remember, they work for you. Our tax dollars pay them. So if you're not getting what you need from them and they're treating you like shit, go above their head. They have to answer to somebody. And if their boss is not answering your questions, go above their head. Start making some noise. Like the first person said, family court is not where you want to anger somebody. Let me put that back up here. Like, why? Like, these people are people just like we are. And if you're gonna fight for it, if you're gonna fight anywhere, why not in family court? Like, why? Why not with the child support agency? Especially when they are fucking with your livelihood, when they're violating your rights, when they're putting you in jail and you don't have no money to pay. That's when you raise the most hell. They're not allowed to do that. And that's another thing, like due process rights. Like, if you don't have money to pay a child support debt and they're issuing warrants, like that, I think, is it Hamilton County and out of Ohio, they're doing this amnesty program. And the news, some news station posted the amnesty program. I'm like, are you making sure that the agency are they doing their due diligence to make sure that these parents have the ability to pay before they are issuing these warrants. Because if not, they're violating the Constitution and the rights of these parents. So we have to hold them accountable. They can't keep just doing this, and we can't be afraid to hold them accountable because they're not going to police themselves. They're not going to police themselves. We left them 25 years to their own devices, and all they did was rob and damage us. So that's it for me. Thank you all for who all joined me. I put it, what do you call it? Tied 3, my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So that's new. I'm liking this little thing though. I'm digging it. Oh, and I got some hey, I just turned my chat on and I got some people over here. What's up, y'all? Thanks for joining me. I'm sorry I had to take a break. Y'all know what puppies, these little puppies. But I really appreciate it. Let me see, social comments display. Oh, okay. What is that? I don't know what that is. Mm-hmm. What's the link to what? I don't know. I as many people come in, that's great. Um, I like I've said several times, I've been shadow banned since like probably the 4th year I've been in. So I mean, I already know what it is, but hopefully you guys share and y'all share and it gets shared. Somehow my stuff still gets shared. So it's not about quantity as far as like the likes and who's watching and things like that, because word of mouth is everything. It's way more than this because like I said, like I've had 4 computers crash. I done had my house shot up. I'm not saying the government did it, but I'm just saying like I done had shit happen. So and my shit, like they stopped my shit from growing, like my numbers and stuff years ago. So I just appreciate whoever's listening, and hopefully y'all share and can use the information. That's the key thing because it's going down. So just as long as you guys are able to take the information and use it, that's what it's all for. Um, I know so much from researching to close my own case against my daughter's father, and they didn't want to do it. And I don't take no for an answer when it comes to my rights. What link are you looking for, Michael? And so we went to war, me in Columbus, Ohio, Franklin County. Hi, y'all. Um, and it took me 8 years to close my case. And I'm the custodial parent. Well, and in that meantime, I found out a lot of information. I researched, and that information was not available. I couldn't find it. It wasn't there. So I wrote a book about it. And the childsupporthustle.com. I wrote a book about it. Start advocating, helping parents with their cases, just pointing them in, the right direction, helping get cases closed. And I've been on it ever since. And they couldn't stop me because guess what? I knew what I was talking about. Everything I said, it was true. And people did not know. I didn't know. I didn't know about the welfare recovery, about them robbing us and all that stuff. And they tried to shut me down. This is my second website. My first website, they hacked it to pieces. I had somebody save like my blogs, but everything else they destroyed. And I say they, the powers that be. I know that because I was going to the top. I was going to DC by mine, and people I was working with, like, yeah, yeah, I done got some big cases closed just by their own shit because they were doing whatever, and I'm like, hold up, you can't do this. Yeah, that this is a child support is a multi, some say billion, I think trillion at this point. I think it's $1 trillion a year industry. But I think that we, the people, just need to understand what's going on and don't let them keep robbing us because the kids are really the ones that suffer and the parents too. Like I just want us to know, like we don't know, and the young people they think that's what's up. Like child support is it. That's it. Like I'm like, and they're so angry. These kids is angry. I'm like, when my baby dad ain't, and they only like 20. They only look like 20, 21. I'm like, when did y'all have time to make the baby? Y'all so mad. Y'all running the child support already. Was y'all ever in love? So, okay, y'all, I'm in this stream. I thank y'all very much. Don't forget, subscribe if you haven't. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm back on there. I shut it down last year, so this is my second Twitter page. It was just too much. Social media is a bitch, but yeah, I'm just trying to get the information out without doing too much. So, but thank y'all. Share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. If you want to get a copy of my book, The Child Support Hustle, oh, here we go. It's available on my website. Um, if you want to donate to me, because I'm writing a new book, and I write my articles and things like that, and you can donate at my Cash App, $TCSH, the number one, or my Venmo. That's in the description. So, and I support. I mean, I appreciate anything that you give. So, thank y'all very much. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget, don't pay cash. Get a receipt. Co-parent if you can, and don't fuck with child support. They will fuck your life up. All right, y'all take it easy. Fight the power.